let's hit some news. Street Fighter 5.
Got some notes here.
He's got some notes. It's just been announced. Not a whole lot of deets are out there, except for the fact that it will be exclusive, and I put that in quotes, to the PlayStation 4 and the PC. Yeah. Got anything to say about this one, or should we go to the next topic? Or?
No, I got a lot of shit. Okay, so go back. So anyway, I'm dead serious. Please go back. I got a lot of shit to say. I wrote things, dog.
The only thing on the cue card.
So, right? It's the only thing on the cue card. But okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on with Street Fighter V, and the biggest reason is because Street Fighter 4 is offered as a multi-platform game. It comes out on Xbox 360, PS3, and it comes out on the PC. And technically, it's also coming out on the PS4 as part of the the PlayStation Now service that they have, or is it the Now? Whatever, where you can stream games so you can play it on PS4. Good for them, right? Well, here's the thing. It got leaked and then confirmed later on in the day as part of the PlayStation lifestyle. What is it called?
Experience?
Experience, thank you, sir. Yeah, PlayStation Experience. And you just look like the silent protagonist. Yes, I'm in agreement.
Producer Eric just nodding at us.
Yeah. Now, here's the gripe that a lot of people are running into. A lot of people have automatically compared this to being the same as Tomb Raider. Now, there's a big problem with that, is that Tomb Raider was initially not born or even created, but it saw the most significance in its growth on the PlayStation. It pretty much became a PlayStation or a Sony brand. Yeah, it was offered on Xbox eventually a little bit later on and stuff like that. But
originally on Sega.
Yeah, it was on, the Sega Saturn.
I think so.
The first Tomb Raider, and I think they re-released it on PlayStation, and then PlayStation 2. I remember as a kid, I cried at night. Me and my brother cried at night because we had to get a PlayStation in order to play... What are you doing, sir? In order to play Tomb Raider 2. We both loved it that much. We're like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to change. Like, we knew Sega Saturn was failing. Like, even back then. But anyway... Lucky Surprise, Christmas, we got it. Woo! Anyway, it's not the same as far as Street Fighter goes. The biggest thing is because it's also offered to the PC. The other thing is we don't know for sure if it's a time exclusive. It could be a time exclusive, but there's a lot of evidence that suggests that it is not. And I have that right here. The biggest thing is cross-platform. A lot of people said, or no one's really mentioned it, but a lot of people are like, oh, they're not trying to unite the communities. That's actually where people can be wrong at, because cross-platform can exist on the PlayStation and the PC, as it has already happened with Portal 2. Yeah, thanks, buddy. We talked about that.
Oh, I got you. So you're talking about Steam.
Yes, Steam. It is connected with Steam. It's utilized Steamworks to connect Portal 2 to PlayStation 3 users and PC users to play cross-platform.
I'm helping.
Cross-platform usually does occur between PC and PlayStation anyway, as it is. It doesn't happen that much with Xbox. I believe it has happened, but a lot of what I've been looking up...
I think it happened with a game called Shadowrun.
Yeah, it did happen with Shadowrun. Okay. Yeah, it did happen with Shadowrun. But that game was such a bomb that I don't even... it was like literally in the dark crevices of the internet. Another important thing is it does have a bigger install base than with Microsoft. Now, and you have to understand this. There's a lot of reasons why it came down to install base. If they're looking at cross-plat, maybe they could work at a cross-plat with Xbox and with PC, right? But you also have to understand that there is a bigger install base with Sony. So if they could do a cross-plat with Xbox and PC, or if they can do it with PS4 and PC, which one do you think they're going to choose? It makes more sense. There's less competition. That's another thing I didn't actually put on here. There's less competition. I mean, yeah, you have Guilty Gear, but that's more off the wall. Like, not everyone knows about Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
As opposed to Killer Instinct. A lot of people grew up playing Killer Instinct. It is Mortal Kombat's, like, stepsister, The biggest reason, and I've seen a lot of people say this, is because Sony might be financing it. As everyone knows, a lot of people know, Capcom has been kind of hurting for money in recent years. A lot of their titles aren't really making all the money back that they put into it. And I mean, look at Resident Evil. I mean, shit,
It sucks.
5 was and 6 was, oh my God, But what they're looking at is Sony might have been like, hey, we can finance this project for you, and in return, make it a little bit more narrow as to who you can send it to. The biggest thing, no one has fucking said this, and it pisses me off, is fighting games lately. Killer Instinct, Tekken, and Dead or Alive have done the same thing, and no one has ever called it out, and that is a free-to-play model. All those games offer some form of free-to-play on it, okay? Granted, Killer Instinct is Microsoft, and it is a free-to-play model. However, it is Microsoft-owned, so it kind of doesn't count, okay? Normally, Microsoft has a big problem with free-to-play, okay? Anything. That's why Dead or Alive Core Fighters, Dead or Alive 5 Core Fighters is not on there, and that's why Tekken Revolution isn't on there. It's a big reason why Tekken Revolution isn't on there. Pretty much what it means is you can download essentially a demo of the game, right? They offer a little bit of the game for you, and then you can pretty much pay DLC for a character. So you can be like, oh, hey, I like to play as, well, you don't know Dead or Alive, do you?
I know some of the characters.
I want to play as Ayane. Cool, okay. Bam. You download the DLC for her, and then you can buy costumes for whatever the case is. They actually make money that way. But more specifically, they keep the community alive because those core fighter players are able to play with players who own the game. And they're not being cheated out. I mean, granted, Core Fighters came out a little bit later, but I already had Dead or Alive Ultimate, and I was like, I don't fucking care. I love the game. That's an important thing. The free-to-play model does not exist on Xbox. Xbox does not support a free-to-play model like that. Microsoft, rather, does not.
They're definitely experimenting with it with that one game that you can get on just the Windows that you can create your own content and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, Project Spark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely trying, it seems.
They don't have as much experience as Sony does with it already.
Gotcha.
And that's actually a really important thing. The biggest thing that I realize is any time a fighting game gets called out or oh, hey, new fighting game's coming out, people always forget it takes a lot of time for these fighting games to come out. Main reason why is because they have to balance them. Yeah, you want to have 30 characters? Cool. They got to be balanced. No one can be really that much more superior than the other. That comes with anything, really. That could be World of Warcraft, for all we know. You have to balance the game. And that stuff takes a year or longer. It could take a year and a half, sometimes even 2 years. Remember, Tekken Tag 2 took, I think, 2 years from when it came out. It was in arcades, but not really for American audiences. It was super select arcade machines. Now, the big thing with that is during this time, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to spend all this money and this, that, and the third. Just save up for it. If you got a year and a half or a year at bare minimum before the game comes out, how's it going to hurt you to save up for a console to get it? I mean, what? It's $400, right? That's how much the PlayStation 4 is. Or a PC. We don't even know the specs of the game yet, but most of the time they are low end. Fighting games have low end spec requirements.
I would think so.
Because they care more about frames per second and just having a consistent streamlined experience. That's it. They don't want frames.
Yeah, there's no draw distance.
Yeah, there's none of that shit. Particles, are there Killer Instinct, crazy particles, and that did affect its frame rate on the Xbox 360, which is why they put it on the Xbox One. But still, that is something that you can save up for, and a lot of people just don't realize that. They want it here and now. And I see a lot of comments about people oh, I'm not going to shell out another blank because I chose a console. Well, you're being a little bit of a fanboy about it. Just get a console that you like. If you like the games that are on it, get it. If Street Fighter comes out and you're like, oh shit, I won't be able to get it for this amount of time, so be it.
As a non-fighting fan, I do have one thing to say about this, and I talked about this a long time ago, where I was saying that these consoles need to start getting their exclusives in, because it's ridiculous that they offer the same games. And I just think it's a good move by Sony. I don't think you can really argue it. They said, hey, we want a leg up on our competition. Maybe they paid them more money. I don't know the politics behind it, but I'm assuming they did something with them, and they said, hey, but you just release it for us, right? And they said, yeah, so now you got to buy a PS4. There you go.
Yeah, and that brings their total number of fighters up to 4. So you have Tekken 7, Dead or Alive 5 re-release. You have Street Fighter 5, and then you have Guilty Gear. So 4 over, what's it called, 1. Or no, 2. They have Dead or Alive as well. I don't know if they're getting Tekken 7. I think we'll get back to that. Another thing, everyone keeps forgetting about the PC. Okay, a lot of people complain about, oh, it's on PS4. Well, dude, if you got a PC, get on PC. I'll just leave it at that. Like, it's really getting a decent PC does not cost that much money. Yeah, you might have to build it yourself, but like Eric, you know, well, like I have Eric, for instance, producer Eric, and could be like, hey, can you help me build my computer? And I'll make him a nice steak afterwards. It works out.
Turns out he loves those.
Yeah. Also, another thing, people think that PC equals Microsoft. It does not. People go, oh, well, you're already catering to Microsoft anyway. It's not the case. If you release a game on PC, it doesn't necessarily mean Microsoft is like, we don't know the specifics really of how this is going to go down in particular, but it's safe to say Microsoft isn't taking a huge cut of this or really much of anything, if that's the case. People may say, oh, Windows Live, it could just as easily be freaking done through Steam, distribution and hosted.
I can almost guarantee you it'll be done through Steam.
Yeah, it's more popular. People hate Windows Live, like legitimately. And then yes, obviously the cross-plat. They already have a history together of that. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind. To summarize, okay, pretty much the free-to-play model is a reason why it could be on PS4 because it doesn't really work that well with Xbox, or they're not really that experienced with it. Another important thing is the cross-platform combined with the install base. Okay, keep that in mind. It's not just plain as day they wanted to screw someone over or screw over part of their community. Okay. Another thing to consider is that a lot of people did make the jump, believe it or not, from Xbox 360 to PS4. A lot did. And it honestly, it had to do with what games were available and what looked better for them. And after Microsoft, like they're still paying for it with their copies, with the amount sold for the Xbox One. Okay, so it's clear to see right now, yeah, PS4 is more desirable in people's eyes. All right, and that's really all it is. Fanboy arguments aside, okay, we don't need to be like getting up in arms trying to burn people down. It's not asking you to change religions. Like that's what I see on the comments. I'm just like, oh my God, relax. Anyway, that's my rant on that. It's a little bit toned down because I got some fires out of it, but we got another topic. We're going to get to it. But anyway, keep going.